I wanna make another note of another movie, Black Panther, where they took certain learnings from African spirituality and African ways of life. When you speak about remembering who you are, they play on this herb, and they call it a herb, which is very important. Called
even
vibranium.
Simba.
Even with
Simba. Remember who you are. Yeah.
That's correct. And it's almost a psychedelic. Well, white people, Western culture would call it a psychedelic. But ingesting these herbs that your ancestors ingested so that the main character, T'Challa, could evoke his father who's passed on and the people before him whose totem was the Black Panther. And we were being given clues in that movie that so many people missed while they were busy watching the action. And I hope that people will go and rewatch these movies, because one of the big lines and my big takeouts in this movie is everywhere one of the characters goes, they get asked this one question, Ungubani. And so many of us are like, oh no, I'm Penwell Mlotshwa. No. That is actually not what we're asking. We need something deeper. Who are you? Where are you from? Who are your parents?
If we wanted to mess it up right now, like in a proper philosophical conversation, I'll ask you, what's your name? What's your name?
Penwell.
Penwell who?
Mlotshwa.
Okay, just for the exercise, let me remove the Penwell. You are no longer Penwell. Who are you? You're Mlotshwa. And I remove the Mlotshwa. I say, who are you? And we start unpacking this thing. Now I'm male. No. You cannot be defined by a piece of furniture that hangs between your legs. Who are you? And keep on penning. You might end up coming into this space where you might actually say, I don't have an identity, but I'm here. So those names that you are using is what people are calling you. It's what the culture is telling you. It's what your family is telling you. And how many people have thought that they are Mlotshwa? In the meantime, they are actually
No, but they Kumalo, they
yeah. So and it takes one moment when your mother looks at you and says, "I Sorumchan, I had kept this information away from you." But does that reduce who you are? So surnames and these surnames and totems are roadmaps, are road signs that are leading you backwards, so that you can see the source weight. Hence the issue of the destruction of the African historical background, giving us surnames, which is a modern phenomenon in the 17th and 18th century, is totally warped, because that's a European system.
Correct.
Prior to that, we were using totems, because totems lead you to the tribe. And when you get into the tribe, you get into the library. Where, oh, your father, yes, the aunt is this one. Yes, and your role in the royal house is this. And you started over there. The fact that you're called by this totem, you used to do this. You were playing this role in there. Then you're able actually to start penning yourself into your own history. And once you have all that in your hand, you are able to understand. We would not have a Prince Charles if there was no history.
Yes.
There was nothing. Otherwise, the royal house must close down.
Yeah.
But what is it that gives them legitimacy? It's
the history.
I am Charles.
The history of,
I am the son of. Who is the son of? Who is the son of? Now, if Africans would also have the same lineages, you may just wake up one morning and discover you don't have to bow to anybody. Why? You will finally have discovered who you are. So in these movies, like the Black Panther that you're mentioning, there are various levels of function. And I'm sorry to say this to us as Africans. We have used a colonial definition of life. You work on the five senses: sense of smell, sense of touch, hearing, taste, and feel. And we think, a human being has five senses. But what happened to premonition? What happened to deja vu? What happened to inspiration? Are these not senses? What happened to gut feeling? The contract is right.
But something doesn't feel right.
And you have not done anything.
Yeah.
It is just, you are able to consolidate in the information, look and etc. And your mind is quickly going into spaces where it pulls up libraries and, no, I'm not interested, guys. I'm not interested. The deal can go without me. So when we begin to understand this level, so the physical level could be the first level that we are talking about.
Yes.
The second level after this could begin to become the mental, where now the information that you've collected, you're now synthesizing it into scientific formulas
Yeah.
of what is it that you want to create. But above the intellectual space, now comes the spiritual space, where you are able to close your eyes and see things that are not there. Even going to sleep is a spiritual experience. This one, I hope you can catch it. Why is it that ladies put on so much makeup in the day, only to end up under the blankets with no makeup and lights are off? If your man cannot see you with his eyes closed, maybe you're wasting your time with your eyes open. Because that which I sleep with is not what I see in the day. That which I sleep with is what I cannot see when the lights are off. So where do relationships really take place? There is interaction at a physical level. But then there's participation at a spiritual level.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that darkness, then we form children. And then the understanding how the body functions, the physical body would work with food and etc. The mental would work with information and comparisons, relative terms and conclusive terms, and experience does much for you to be able to concretize ideas. But by the time you get spiritual, you are becoming much lighter. To enhance the body, therefore there's dietary issues. And that's where chemistry begins. Chemet. That is where witchcraft begins. Not witchcraft as of bewitching, but it's a question. Witchcraft is this. So when the white men found a woman after washing her hands in some certain chemical, and they say this child is a bridge, and the woman puts her hands on top of the womb and then calls the totems of this child that is in the womb. And the child turns and faces the door. The white man standing on the door asks, witchcraft.
Witchcraft is this.
Which science is this? So in some certain space, you use that big word, psychedelics.
Yes.
Psychedelics is it where, that's where marijuana is. That's where even alcohol is. It's a psychedelic. Why? Because it alters personality.
Mind-altering substance or
so when
whatever.
you use these substances, don't use them recklessly.
Yeah.
Have intentions. Because sometimes you smoke marijuana and you don't have an intention for it. The amount of information that will be downloaded to your mind will cross your wires. Some people have gone mad.
That is correct.
They were not ready. All of a sudden, you begin to see things. You begin to hear things. Everything is exaggerated. And you don't know what to do in that space. People have jumped on from buildings, ran in front of cars. What they are seeing is scary. Some see monsters.
Yeah.
And where are these monsters? They are all now in your space. You have invited yourself into the spiritual realm and you did not know where you were going. You thought you were doing entertainment. That's why even alcohol, they call it spirits. Why? Why is it spirit? Because once that poison gets into your body, it's going to move your mind to another level. The question is, what do you do when you're in that level? You want to drive? No, I don't think you can drive because you're no longer seeing clearly.
Yes.
Do you want to have a conversation with your wife? No. You're going to become abusive. What do you want to do? Now you're drunk. You're drunk. You've taken the alcohol. Now you don't know what to do with yourself. Do you want to argue? Do you want to fight? Do you want what? So you have all these altered personalities who tamper with spiritual substances. And when they get there, they don't know what to do. Hence, drinking beer in the African context was a spiritual occasion.
Yes.
Where people would sit around traditionally. Big pot of beer is put there. Every man comes with his reed and puts it into the pot. And we sit and we're conversing. And when all of us move to a certain level of understanding, we are discussing issues that have to do with the community. And we are fixing issues, but we're all at the same pace. Now, yeah, these days, then you get mad alone.
Yes.
You know, so yes, the psychedelics, we have been having them in the African culture. Into Ntelezi, for example, into marijuana, for example, both for pain and for spiritual use.
Yes.
If you get to places like Gambia, they still use things like bwiti. You get to places like Peru, they have ayahuascas and flowers, as you mentioned in the Black Panther. And by the way, that's a beautiful one, the Black Panther. It was beautiful because they were actually accurate. They picked up the purple flower.
Yes.
And when you go on your chart of chakras, the purple flower is actually for the pineal gland, which is on the top side. And when you look at my head, I left it today. When you look at that head, the purple on the head represents all the foods that actually enhance the pineal gland part, the yellow, the green for the gut, the red for the blood. And so when you look at our African culture, those Zulu, Ndebele, a piece of beads, people look at them and just go, oh, just beads.
Yes.
But when you look at the science so therefore art and craft is the library for our ancestors. Well, that's where they wrote the books. And he who studies his culture and understands the symbols of his culture, be it in Gabon, those masks of aliens and etc., they are telling you as a community, what kind of spaces have we moved on to. You cannot just tell me someone started creating those things from nowhere. No. There's an experience. Yabo Chikuchitauli, the alien invasions. And how could the Egyptians be able to draw spaceships and what? And you get to Gabon and other places, you still find some of these spaceships as part of the crafts that are there. Where did they get these things from? In Shona, for example, the name for an aeroplane is Ndege, okay? But the name for a rocket is Chitundum Seremser. So where did the Shona people know Chitundum Seremsere, which is actually beyond the aeroplane itself? It is a rocket that shoots into the sky. And this word is already entrenched in our culture, is already telling that as a culture, as a people, we have an experience with these words. The new words like bicycle, you can hear.
Yeah, that comes from
you can hear bicycle.
Yeah.
But when you come around and you begin to tell me, you begin to hear the language of the people and they're explaining things, then you know that people have had an experience with these things. But psychedelics are a shorter route of fast-tracking yourself into the spiritual realm because physically you're not doing the right things to tap into those spaces.
Please indulge me. I'd like you to simplify.
Sorry for talking long, for explaining.
No, please
I'm
don't
apologize
for that.
Yeah.
You're getting carried away by the spirits and there are people that need to hear it.